Welcome back to Football Daily, where we've reached the middle of the week, which means it's time for transfer talk. Lots of big news in today's episode, so let's skip the small talk and get straight into it. We start on the continent with one of England's brightest prospects. It's fair to say that despite his £25 million price tag as a 17-year-old last summer, Jude Bellingham has exceeded all expectations at Borussia Dortmund, quickly becoming an integral part of the Bundesliga side. The teenager, who was part of Gareth Southgate's squad at Euro 2020, has also started this campaign in fine form. And ever present under Marco Rosa, Bellingham has scored one and set up another in the opening 4 games of the season, with his side sitting in third with 9 points. So it's no surprise that a number of Premier League clubs are reportedly keeping tabs on the 18-year-old, with the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City interested in the former Birmingham City youngster. As he was technically still a child when he signed for Dortmund, Bellingham was limited to just a 3-year deal at the Westfalenstadion, but upon his 18th birthday, the same day England knocked Germany out of the Euros, 2 years were automatically added to the end of his contract. So, with a deal tying him down until 2025, and his employers showing in recent summers that they won't be forced into selling their stars, just how much would it take for Dortmund to even raise an eyebrow at an offer? Without any release clause, not even one due to come active in the future like teammate Erling Haaland, the ball is very much in BVB's court, and it's not like Bellingham is even considering the possibility of leaving Germany quite yet. With that in mind, it's likely to take a bid topping €100 million to prize the prodigy away from the club. With Liverpool seemingly reluctant to spend any money for the time being and Chelsea focusing on other areas of the pitch, that could leave the door open for Manchester City to make a move as they continue their search for a long-term successor to Fernandinho. And as we saw in the last window, City will pay such a fee if they need to. To Spain next, where La Liga president Javier Tebas has come out and made the extraordinary claim that, should they want to, Real Madrid would have the funds to sign both Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland next summer. That is according to Football España, who reported him as making those comments at a press conference over the weekend. This comes not even 6 months after Los Blancos presidente Florentino Perez suggested that without the proposed European Super League, his club would not be able to survive. Then, of course, the 74-year-old made 2 bids for Mbappe, who sees his PSG contract expire next summer, including one worth €180 million, both of which were quickly rejected by the French side. So much for struggling to survive. But, according to Tebas, Real have made over €200 million since the end of the 2019-20 campaign through player sales and subsequent wage savings, having not bought anyone either in that time frame until the deadline day acquisition of Eduardo Camavinga. So with Mbappe expected to be available for free next summer and Haaland's €75 million release clause coming into effect too, Tebas's belief is clearly that Perez will attempt to sign both of them as he builds the new Galacticos. This is despite what is expected to be extortionate wages for the pair, who have both been tipped as future Ballon d'Or winners, with each of them likely to be courted by all the biggest clubs in the sport in barely 9 months' time. Romelu Lukaku has taken just 3 games to become Chelsea's top scorer with 3 goals, proving the perfect signing up front. But his consistent form in front of goal could spell bad news for a certain Timo Werner, whose future is now back in the headlines. Signed from RB Leipzig last summer for £47.5 million, putting pen to paper on a 5-year deal that runs until 2025, it was expected that the German international would be the leading man at Stamford Bridge. But just 12 months and 12 goals later, Tuchel has gone down a very different route, and with it paying off early on, it comes as no surprise that Werner could already be on his way out of West London. With his only start coming in the game that Lukaku wasn't here for, it had been suggested that Werner could start on the left. But Thomas Tuchel's preferred attacking midfielders so far have been Mason Mount and Kai Havertz, with Werner featuring for just 9 minutes since the opening day. Earlier this summer, we covered the story that Bayern Munich were keeping tabs on the former Leipzig man, and well, there the side once more linked with the 25-year-old. However, with Chelsea adamant they can turn a profit on their misfiring marksman, who still has 4 years of his deal left, Bayern are reluctant to make a straight cash offer for Werner, who, if he did move, would link up with Julian Nagelsmann as his boss once more. So, according to Todo Fichajes, Leroy Sane could be used as trade bait to tempt the Blues into listening to their advances. Sane only left the Premier League for Bavaria in July last year, joining from Manchester City for a deal that could rise to €60 million, contributing 15 goals in 32 appearances in his debut campaign as Bayern won a 9th consecutive Bundesliga title. And this season he has started as a key part of Nagelsmann's side, contributing a goal and assist in 3 starts. It seems therefore that this rumour was started in London instead of Munich, with Sane, 2 months Werner senior, very much in favour whilst his compatriot could be in for an uncertain future. But what do you make of this at home though? Would it be a fair swap, and do you think Werner would refine his form back in Germany? Get in the comments and join the conversation below. That's not all the news coming out of Chelsea though, as after failing in their pursuit of Sevilla centre-back Jules Koundé, they still find themselves in the market for a defender, despite conceding just one goal in their opening 4 fixtures of the campaign. And whilst the assumption was that they'd simply go straight back in for the Frenchman in January, it seems they could turn their focus elsewhere, thanks to another new signing. Record edition Romelu Lukaku has apparently become Agent Rom in his spare time, as according to Sport Media Set, he's been touting his former Inter Milan teammates Alessandro Bastoni and Milan Skriniar to the Blues hierarchy. It could be difficult to snag one or both of this defensive pairing, but Inter Milan's finances remain precarious, meaning it could play into Chelsea's hands once more. Slovakian international Skriniar has long been linked with a move away from the San Siro, having joined for a fee of £30 million in 2017 and having made 170 appearances for the Nerazzurri. With 2 years left on his deal though, now could be the best time to sell for Inter before his value drops steeply, provided he doesn't want to sign a new deal. As for Bastoni, the 22-year-old is touted as one of Italy's next great defenders. Inter signed him for a similar fee to Skriniar when the Azzurri international was just 18, and the centre-back has still 3 years left on his contract, having signed an extension after the Serie A triumph last campaign. However, the pair have a similar valuation, according to Transfermarkt, of around €60 million, so are unlikely to come cheaper than any fee they'd want to pay on Jules Koundé. But out of these 3 options, Chelsea fans, who would be your preferred signing? Let us know in the comments. According to Mundo Deportivo, Manchester United have made inquiries about the availability of Barcelona wonderkid Ansu Fati over the summer. The 18-year-old, who has inherited the fabled number 10 shirt from the departed Lionel Messi, sees his current deal at the Camp Nou expire at the end of the season, though Ronald Koeman and Barcelona remain confident they can tie him down to a new long-term deal. Fati, who shares the same agent as Cristiano Ronaldo in Jorge Mendes, was reportedly offered to Manchester City against his current club's wishes, with the Catalonians holding the option to automatically extend his deal by 2 years. Useful, but hardly ideal if it's against the player's demands. But do you guys at home really think Ansu Fati could be the next star on his way out of Barcelona? And if so, what do you reckon his price would be? Let us know. We'll round off this episode of Transfer Talk with the return of Jesse Lingard. After a summer of speculation that saw him linked with West Ham following a successful loan spell last season, the 28-year-old ultimately went nowhere. So far this season, the attacking midfielder has made 2 league substitute appearances in an overcrowded front line under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, scoring the final goal in the 4-1 victory over Newcastle at the weekend. However, with his contract still set to expire next summer, Leicester City have emerged as favourites for his signature, apparently lining up the England international as a potential replacement for James Maddison. The Foxes are somewhat anticipating the departure of the 24-year-old next summer, as being constantly linked with a move to Arsenal during the previous window. It seems more and more unlikely that Lingard will sign a new deal at Old Trafford, considering the embarrassment of riches up top at Manchester United. So unless he gets the game time he deserves, his 22-year association with the club looks to be coming to a swift end. And let's face it, after that pass back against Young Boys last night, it might be harder for him to get back into the first team anytime soon. So that was Transfer Talk for another week, but what was your favourite story you saw in our show? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to Football Daily with that notification bell switched on, and we'll see you next time.